Good morning everyone. I am Dr. Sudhir Mina, Professor in Department of Prosthodontics. Today I will be taking a class on rest and rest seats in removable partial dentures. So I will be covering the topic under following contents: the introduction, the classification, functions, requirement, basic consideration, and types of occlusal rest, types of lingual rest and incisal rest. So according to Glossary of Prosthodontic Terms, the rest can be classified, is defined as a projection or attachment usually on the side of an object. Rest seat is a prepared recess in a tooth or restoration created to receive the occlusal, incisal, cingulum or lingual rest. Classification according to McCracken, it is classified as occlusal, cingulum or incisal rest basis of on the tooth surface prepared. On the basis of function, according to Stewart, they can be primary rest or secondary rest. On the basis of their location, they can be classified as anterior rest or posterior rests. So there are primary functions of the rest. The primary purpose of the rest is to provide vertical support for the partial denture and thus resist the movement in the cervical directions, which can be seen in this diagram. In the figure 1, the rest is there so that the other component cannot displace in the cervical direction, thereby impinging on the gingiva, and also maintains the component in their planned position. It also, other functions are, it directs and distributes the occlusal loads to the abutment, teeth, and direct forces in the long axis of the teeth. It transmits vertical load as well as horizontal forces on the tooth and maintains established occlusal relationship by preventing the settling of the denture and also prevents supra-eruption. The rest also deflects the food by bridging the gap between the two teeth, restores the anterior guidance and restores anterior anatomy as required. And if the mobile teeth are present, it also helps in splinting the teeth together. The basic consideration for the rest and rest seat design is it should be spoon shaped from the top, a half spoon shaped from the top, and in the cross sectional end it should be crescent shape. The rest should be sturdy, placed in properly engineered recess. The recess is prepared in the enamel of the teeth. The rest sheet should be prepared within the confines of the greatest tooth mass so that the more periodontal ligaments can be involved during the vertical stress, which can be seen in this figure. The design of the floor of the rest seat is, it should be, the recess or the preparation in the enamel should be less than 90 degrees to the long axis of the tooth to direct the stresses axially, and it should be apical to the marginal ridge of the tooth. The anterior rest should be as close to the center of the tooth as possible. The design of the occlusal rest and rest seat, the outline form is basically a half spoon shaped or a rounded triangle with the base resting on the marginal ridge and apex towards the center of the occlusal surface. The dimensions in the buccolingual width should be 1/2 and from cusp tip to cusp tip, and 1/3 to 1/2 from in the mesiodistal width. Reduction of the marginal ridge of the approximately 1.5 mm is usually necessary to prepare the recess in the enamel of the tooth, and the floor of the occlusal rest sheet should be apical to the marginal ridge and on the occlusal surface. So it can be concave or spoon shaped for the distal extraction and can be box shaped for the Kennedy's class 3 or tooth supported RPD. So that the minimum thickness of the rest, the metal rest, should be 0.5 mm at the thinnest and 1 to 1.5 mm at the marginal ridge. And also the proximal occlusal line angle of the preparation should not be sharp. So these are some requirements of the rests and rest seats, so that we should never place a rest where it interferes with the natural occlusal stops, which can be appreciated in these diagrams. The shaded portion are the natural occlusal stops, so we'll never place the rest on those areas, and we'll prefer the different areas to prepare the rest seats on the natural tooth. If there is a weak abutment, like you can see in figure 18, the abutment has a poor periodontal support, so we'll splint the rest. And in figure 19, if both the teeth are weak, we should prepare the rest seats in both the tooth so that it can bound the tooth together. So these are the armamentarium which are used for occlusal rest, which can be carbide burrs and polishing tips, and should be prepared in the enamel. Coming to types of occlusal rest, it can be internal occlusal rest, like in Kennedy's class 3 situation, which is a totally tooth supported partial denture, or it can be long or continuous rest, which is preferred in splinting the periodontally weakened teeth. And interproximal occlusal rest or embrasure rest are prepared. The design of the direct retainer assembly may require that interproximal occlusal rest can be used. Interproximal occlusal rest seats are prepared as individual adjoining the occlusal rest seats. These are different forms of occlusal rest seats. Embrasure rest. In embrasure rest, the adjacent rest rather than a single rest are used to avoid interproximal wedging by the framework, and also to shunt move the food away from the contact point when there is a gap between the tooth or the tooth are periodontally weak. So sufficient tooth structure must be removed to allow for adequate bulk of the metal. Similarly, there is a form like extended occlusal rest, which is indicated for Kennedy's class 2 modification 1 and Kennedy's class 3 situation, when the most posterior abutment is mesially tipped molar, which it helps in minimizing the further tipping of the abutment and thereby directing the forces in the apical direction of the tooth. The rest should extend more than 1/2 the mesodistal width of the tooth and approximately 1/3 the buccolingual width of the tooth. Coming to the anterior rest, it can be a cingulum rest which is placed on a canine, and can be a lingual rest which is kept near the center of the rotation. And why it is placed so that it does not tip the tooth, and also to direct the forces apically. And if there is a situation where canine is not present, then multiple rest can be used rather than a single rest on the remaining anterior teeth. The outline form of these rests are half moon shaped, and dimensions are mesodistal width is 2.5 to 3 mm, labiolingual width is 2 mm, and inciso-apical depth is 1.5 mm. It is also prepared by using a inverted cone shaped burr, diamond stone, and all line angles should be properly polished so that there is easier removal and placement of the removable partial denture. Another type of anterior rest is incisal rest or rest seat, but it is less desirable because it is more seen when patient smiles or opens his mouth. And it is basically predominantly used as auxiliary rest or as an indirect retainer. The outline form is small V on the anterior tooth, maybe canine or any anterior tooth, and the floor of the rest seat is extended slightly onto the labial aspect, thereby providing a bracing effect to the component. There are few complications in preparing rest seats. It can be a dentinal exposure which can lead to hypersensitivity, and if it is not planned properly, it can lead to damage of the periodontium. If in individual with high caries index, it can lead to caries, and if rest seat is not of adequate depth, it can lead to fracture of the rest. Thank you very much.